What is up, guys? Welcome to another episode of TOT Reviews. Okay, so on today's episode of TOT Reviews, we're diving into my crossbow that I've been using for, this will be the 6th season now, this upcoming fall. This crossbow, it's a Barnett Recruit. It's in the Barnett line of crossbows. I got it back in 2014. Okay, I'm going to start off with some specifications and accessories you get with the bow when you buy one. So, the Recruit shoots 300 feet per second, has a 130 pound draw weight, and it's 32 1/4 inches in length from top to bottom, and is 18 inches from limb to limb. So it's a really narrow crossbow. It's nice for maneuvering around in a blind, or if you're in a tree stand, you know, you're not catching it on limbs and stuff like that. I mean, some of these other crossbows have limbs that go way out wide, and they're just hard to maneuver around in a blind or in a tree stand. You know, this crossbow's nice for, you know, young kids starting out hunting. Easy for them to maneuver, and it's just really nice and narrow. You don't gotta worry about catching it on anything, and nice and light. So young hunters coming in, this is a great crossbow for them. It's also a very accurate shooting crossbow. I got my scope here sighted into 20, 30, and 40, 3 pins, and the farthest I've ever shot a deer with this crossbow was 30 yards, and I drilled that deer. I mean, I got it sighted in well, but still, I mean, once you get out to 40, there's so many things that can happen with your arrow, with the deer you're shooting at, just tons of stuff. I mean, I'd rather shoot at a deer. My max is probably 30, 35, and then, I mean, I'm not really in the mood to be shooting at a deer 40 yards because so many things can happen. A lot of guys talk about, you know, needing a $1,000 crossbow or just compound bow to get out hunting and, you know, have an accurate shooting crossbow. This crossbow, when I bought it, was $300, right around $300, and I think it's like $250 now, and it shoots accurate as can be, and I don't know what else you would need. I mean, you know, for getting into bow hunting, I've been using this bow for, this will be my 6th year, and I've never felt the need to change. I mean, I've just been good with this crossbow. So as I mentioned, and you guys can see, I have a scope on this crossbow. That's not actually what it comes with when you buy it. It actually comes with this Barnett red dot. It's got 3 dots. You can change the color to red or green, whichever. I always had it sighted in 20, 30, 40, and it's got 5 different brightness settings. It's a really nice red dot. I shot my first few deer with this red dot. I switched just because I've always preferred scope, and with the red dot, you got your 3 dots in the center, and they can move around. They're not fixed in the middle, so you have to make sure you have your dots centered when you're going to shoot at something. So it can, if you're in a rush or you're shooting a deer, or you know, things happen in the woods, so you get in a little rush, you might not get them dots completely centered, and then tragedy will happen. I mean, you know, you could think you're aiming at one spot, and your bolt will hit a completely different spot. And when you're, you know, bow hunting's a game of inches, so you don't want to screw up. So also, when you buy one of these bows, you get a quiver, which is the same quiver right here that I've always been using. These aren't the arrows that come with it. I use different arrows, but if I recall right, you get 3 Easton arrows. I'm pretty sure. You don't get broadheads, you just get the arrows and the quiver. So the quiver's nice. I mean, it's got a hard plastic bottom in here. really seats your arrows well. I always leave my arrows out just a little bit, but you also get a rope cocker. Obviously that's essential, and you get the red dot like I mentioned before, and you get some bow wax. I've loved this crossbow ever since I got it, and we're going on 6 years now. I've only ever had one major issue with this crossbow, and it kind of put me out of commission for a week to 2 weeks during hunting season. But the second year I had this crossbow, and I went hunting and I got to my spot, and I cocked the crossbow, and when I was sitting there I was looking over the limbs, and there was 2 small hairline cracks right in the center of the limb. And I was a little bit nervous, gave me an eerie feeling while I was sitting there hunting. I got home and I was a little bit nervous to shoot it, unload it, but I shot it. I didn't know if the limbs would explode or anything. I figured not, and I figured they'd probably been there. I just hadn't seen them for a little bit. And so I had bought it from Gander Mountain, what used to be Gander Mountain, and I had a warranty with that, with this crossbow. And so they fixed it. I think it took about 2 weeks. They put the whole new head on, and so the limbs are all good now. But they fixed it up. They had no problems. I had no problems with them. The warranty was good, so they fixed it up, and I haven't had any problems with it since. I don't really have any cons with this crossbow. I mean, I've been using it for 6 years. By now, I would think I would, notice something that I don't really particularly like about the crossbow. I never really noticed anything. I mean, maybe just the one thing is the safety is a little bit noisy turning it on, but that's about it. I mean, this little metal piece down here, I still got to tape this. I've been meaning to the last couple of years. I just never have. It's a little bit noisy walking through the woods. That's about it. I mean, I don't know why it's got to be loose, but that's probably the only major con I have with the crossbow. I mean, otherwise I love the crossbow, and it's a cheap crossbow. I don't know what else you want from this crossbow. That's about it for the review on the crossbow. I mean, I don't really have any cons, like I said. Pretty much everything's been positive. If you guys have questions about the crossbow that I didn't answer and you want to know, let me know in the comments. I'll get back to you when I can. If I know, the answer, I'll let you know. So that's about it for the review. I'll talk to you guys about my arrow setup and broadhead setup and my scope now, and we'll be getting ready for bow season. Okay, so the arrows I use 20-inch, or they're bolts or arrows, whatever you guys prefer to say. So I use 20-inch Carbon Express pile drivers. These arrows shoot really accurate, and let me tell you, I mean, they're called pile drivers for a reason. That buck I shot last year on film, my very first video on this channel, all I had was the 1/4-2 shoulder shot, and the combination of the Rage broadhead and the pile driver, I mean, that and the crossbow, that blew through that shoulder and made a really nice shot on that buck, and that deer ran about 100 yards and tipped over. So we got the Carbon Express pile driver, and we get to the lethal end of the arrow bolt. We got the 2-inch cutting diameter Rage broadhead, and let me tell you, these Rage broadheads are a miracle. I mean, these things will cut a deer open, let me tell you. I'll put a picture up on the screen. I guess it's graphic, so if you don't like blood or, graphic stuff, probably look away. It's just gonna be a picture of the hole that this thing left on that buck I shot last year in the shoulder. I mean, the hole was insanely huge. Every deer I've ever shot with these Rage broadheads, I mean, has left a blood trail like this wide, just solid painted red. I mean, these Rage broadheads are a miracle and a half. A lot of guys always talk about mechanical broadheads and how you get a lot of deflection with them. Personally, I've never really noticed it. I've always hit my deer where I've been aiming, pretty much for the most part, and I've never had a problem. I think I've probably wounded one deer in my life with Rage broadhead that I did not find, and that was probably my fault. So, Rage broadheads, 100% recommend. So the arrow broadhead setup, got the Carbon Express pile drivers with the 2.0-inch Rage on the end. And let me tell you, you hit the deer where you're aiming in the sweet spot, you're good to go. So that's pretty much my crossbow setup with my arrows, bolts, and broadheads. It's a lethal setup. I've shot a lot of deer, like I said before, with this setup. I don't plan on changing anytime soon. I'm just going to keep slaying the deer with this. So if you're heading out, you want to get into crossbow bow hunting this year, and you're looking for a crossbow, I would recommend the Recruit to start out, and keep using it if you feel like you like it. I mean, just keep on using it. Recommend the Rage broadheads and the pile drive arrows. Like, the pile drive arrows are a little bit more expensive. I can't remember the exact price, but they are more expensive. And the Rage broadheads are a little bit more expensive too, but it's 100% worth it. It's just worth it, man. You don't got to worry about it. As long as you hit where you're aiming, this arrow and broadhead is going to do the rest of the work for you. That's all you got to worry about. So that's the crossbow review. That's my crossbow setup, arrow, bolt, and broadhead setup. And I'm excited for deer season this year. Just take all this information and, use it how you want to use it. If you're looking, you want to buy one, I'd 100% recommend it. Any questions you guys have about the arrows, the broadheads, crossbow, the scopes, whatever, let me know down in the comments. That way I can help you guys out. That's all I want. I want to make sure you guys got all the information you need for getting out there this fall. So if you guys enjoyed this video and this review, and you guys enjoyed the last review, and you guys want to keep seeing more, let me know. Hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell too, and let me know down in the comments if you guys want to see more reviews. And make sure you smash that like button. Thank you guys so much for watching. Always remember, you aren't living unless you're chasing the trio.